These soldiers are lined up for a regular search on women's prison number 2 near Guayaquil in West Ecuador. The army's taken over many of the country's prisons in an effort to restore order. They've given us rare access to going with them. The army's told us that we have to put on bulletproof vests and also the helmets when we go into the prison. And we asked them why, and they said there are weapons inside. Once they get in, they look everywhere. Mattresses ripped open, belongings all over the floor. These soldiers are looking for things that aren't allowed in the prison, but specifically they're looking for cell phones where inmates can call the outside world, and they say do things like extort the population. They're also looking for drugs and they're looking for weapons. The hiding places can be ingenious. Inmates can hide phones in the actual wall, and then they put some soap on it to seal it back up, and then they paint it back up. So that's what they're trying to find now. For years, prisons have functioned as command centres for the country's gangs to run their operations and extortion rackets. That's led to brutal battles for control of them. The country's seen over 15 prison massacres in the last 5 years. Endemic corruption among prison guards hasn't helped. That's why 2 years ago, the army took over. There's about 700 soldiers at the moment that are in this prison, and what they've told me is that they change out about every month to try and avoid them from being basically corrupted by the inmates. This is only part of the militarization of Ecuador over the past 2 years. Daniel Noboa, the president, has sent the army onto the streets to try and stop the gangs fighting. So far, it's failed. The homicide rate in 2025 was the worst on record in the country. After an initial drop, the riots and massacres continued in prisons too. Although the inmates I managed to talk to said that things here are calmer since the army took over. Their biggest problem, they say, is that the soldiers have cut the food and medicine coming in.
They have completely reduced the food. The medicine is really limited, and the medical attention since the soldiers came in is zero, because even though they're in charge of us, they can't come close to us or touch us.
Human rights groups say that's happening across army-controlled prisons, and that malnutrition and sickness have been the result. A recent tuberculosis outbreak killed hundreds. But Ecuador's doubling down on the strategy. It's just opened a new maximum security prison as it tries to bring gangs and the prison population under control. John Holman, Jazeera, Guayaquil.